assisting yourself from stress relief to realize where the stress is coming from, namely yourself. No person or situation in and of itself directly causes stress for depression, frustration, anxiety. Rather, it is the meaning and attitude a person attributes to the external triggers that experience the result in stress. A worker who panics when told he is going to be laid off is likely to believe the cause of his stress is exclusively due to the pending layoff. In actuality, the cause of the panic anxiety is not the bad news of the layoff in and of itself, a triggering event, but is instead a reminder of the attitude of catastrophe. The worker attributes total disaster to this bad news, resulting in the feeling overwhelmed with panic anxiety. In general, people respond in their own unique ways to external stimuli, even when such stimuli appear to be only negative. This podcast is designed specifically for those people who initially respond to external stressors as if they are catastrophic. Most of the literature on the subject of stress relief, particularly of the self-help genre, offer a routine list of conventional exercise aimed at symptom relief we discussed already. The next level of stress intervention is by many professionals who typically refer people in crisis to psychiatrists who are quick to prescribe medication instead of talk therapy. Implicitly, they aim to reduce symptoms rather than to identify underlying causes. We of this podcast strongly believe that symptom relief alone is not sufficient enough to enable those in need of relief to feel significantly better. One factor that makes this podcast unique is the rarely mentioned, if at all, fact that there has to be a shift in a person's attitude towards his emotional response to the triggering event for effective long-time mastery to occur. This shift necessitates a change in attitude from negative to positive with respect to experiencing anxiety, frustration, depression, and or stress. The co-author of this talk, Dr. Gibbs Williams, says, "This is so because I have witnessed that most people who come into their first psychotherapy session in a state of crisis, when asked about their attitude towards anxiety, depression, frustration, and or stress, characteristically respond. They get more actions when they are anxious, more frustrated when they are frustrated, more depressed when they are depressed, and more stressed out when they are stressed. Thus, they typically hate these feelings, experiencing them as attacked by invisible enemy forces, wishing that they could instantly rid themselves of their painful discomfort, rather than confronting them head-on, viewing them as an inevitable life limitations that have to be tolerated. When you have to try and communicate to the person in crisis, contrary to the propaganda and misinformation oftenly explicitly or implicitly disseminated by the pharmaceutical companies, that feelings such as anxiety, frustration, depression, and the stress we are talking about are not pathological symptoms that should be suppressed or masked. Each of them is a normal, healthy reaction to inevitable life limitations. Each of these normal reactions is necessary for our survival. They each signal that some active creation intervention is necessary to resolve inevitable complicated life problems to ensure both basic survival as well as contributing to the creative process of forging and sustaining a life of meaningful significance. In other words, to thrive. I believe that if you stay curious about your stressed attitude, you can begin to evaluate your present situation and then with proper self-motivation, try a new approach. To shift attitudes from negative to positive, you must become an active participant in the attitude shifting process. It will be your task to choose those exercises believed most relevant for your situation. The repetitions eventually become automatic responses. In this connection, Some explanation is necessary to distinguish that what appears to be the surface external cause of stress is actually a symptom of an underlying internal cause. Let's talk about Joe and his pending layoff. It's initially experienced as a catastrophe taking the form of panic anxiety and depression. In identifying his primary issue, note that if his pending job loss the surface trigger, but redirecting his attention to his internal emotional responses of panic, stress, and additional negative feelings. While for many people this idea of a personal internal reality separate from an external reality is a no-brainer, for many others it is a novel and indeed somewhat shocking experience. This is especially so when a person experiences it for the first time. Warning: emphasis on words is the central assumption of this guide. This does not mean that you shouldn't go to an emergency room of the nearest hospital or to a psychiatrist for more intensive therapy, or being assessed for their possible need for drugs, your possible need for drugs. It does mean that if you are introduced to the potential power of special words, experienced as therapeutic, you may not require anything more than the intervention outlined in this course. All methods of coping utilize one or more exercises to reduce the negative effects of internal and external stressors. However, whereas each of the following exercises may be useful, not all of them will resonate equally with a given person at a given time. If you're wishing for the perfect exercise, don't. The perfect exercise to reduce all these issues really doesn't exist. If by perfection is meant the total long-term elimination of the discomfort which accompanies these four painful feelings. However, there's one exercise that will provide you with hope that significant relief is possible, thereby encouraging you to actively struggle to change your attitude. There's good stress and there's bad stress. Good stress is the type that propels a person to excel, to reach new heights, or to complete a big project on time. Then there's bad stress. Stress that comes from conflict or worries. Stress that keeps a person from sleeping and happiness. Stress that calls for relief. Here are 3 stress relief tips you can follow. Meditation for stress relief. Can there be a more obvious stress relief strategy than to bring your entire physical being to a calm? Meditation techniques often involve visualization of something calm, like a blank screen or clouds, or it can mean clearing your mind entirely. If stress is caused by how we allow our minds to be captured by worries and fears, then replacing those worries and fears with calmer images is the obvious way to reduce stress. An exercise to reduce stress. If relaxing to a state where even your blood vessels are almost still is the ultimate in stress relief, surely exercise, which gets even your blood pumping at breakneck speed, must be the ultimate stress demon. Not so. Exercise is a big stress reliever. In fact, the bigger the muscles you exercise, the more or less stress you will bear. That's because exercise releases physical tension in the muscles. Here's another tip. Exercise in water to reduce stress even more. Why? Because you're more buoyant on water. Gravity takes a much greater toll on your body, so the tension created in your muscles just by holding you up gets released. For the ultimate stress release, exercise in water, or meditate in water, or best of all, laugh in water. Yes, laughter also relieves stress. The muscles we use to laugh are those tense ones in our faces. When we loosen them, we release tension from our faces. We also allow more blood to flow to the pleasure centers of the brain, which might be why someone with a good sense of humor is considered more attractive. Any of these seems familiar? The kids woke up late again this morning. By the time you get to school and fight rush hour traffic, you'll be 20 minutes late for the meeting. You're supposed to be there on time. Delete it. When you were first hired, you felt lucky to get your customer service job, but now you wonder if it's worth it. The phones ring constantly and you hear nothing but complaints. Last week, you called in sick just to get a break. It's almost time for your presentation. You were up all night finishing the PowerPoint. You wonder if you've anticipated all the possible questions. You know, stress is a permanent feature of our lives, but it really seems to ramp up at work. More than 2/3 of American workers report that workplace stress is a problem. This means we're all spending way too much time in fight or flight mode, and it's taking a toll on our bodies through weakened immune systems, high blood pressure, and heart disease. These conditions shorten our lives and lower the quality of our what's left. There are lots of strategies for managing stress, but when the stress blindsides us with no time to prepare, we don't need strategy. We need quick, practical steps we can take now that work faster can be done anywhere. When stress launches its next surprise attack, try one of these. Breathe deeply, visualize mentally, relax progressively. Let's talk about breathing deeply. Breathe deeply could be the single most effective way to stay calm. Everyone breathes, but a lot of us breathe the wrong way, shallow, fast, and high in the chest. This kind of breathing is restrictive. It increases our anxious feelings and it fuels our body's negative stress reactions. Slow, deep breathing triggers a relaxation response, calming the body and focusing the mind. It increases the amount of oxygen in our blood, raising our performance potential. Are you breathing the right way? To find out, try this. Put one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen, just below your rib cage. Now breathe. Which hand moves? If it's the hand on your chest, your breathing is too shallow. The trick is to make the hand on your abdomen move. Inhale deeply while you slowly count to 5. Try to get your abdomen to expand instead of your chest. If you have trouble making it happen, try it lying on your back. With a little practice and patience, you'll be able to shift into a deep breathing pattern automatically. Once you learn the techniques of deep breathing, you can do it anytime, anywhere, in the middle of rush hour traffic, right before you handle the next irate customer, or even in the middle of your biggest presentation. Now, visualize mentally. There are 2 kinds of visualization techniques. The first one involves visualizing a mental image of a place that's relaxing for you. It may be a remembered place that triggers relaxed, concentrated feelings, or it may be imaginary. The basic idea is to give your mind something to focus on beside the stress. Once you have visualized your restful scene, you should spend about 10 minutes attempting to imagine it as fully as possible. Inventory your senses. What do you see? How does it smell? Do you hear anything? What do you feel? What can you taste? Then slowly allow yourself to return to the real world around you. Effective visualization will take some practice. Professional musicians and Olympic athletes practice a different form of visualization, a mental rehearsal of what's about to happen. Instead of visualizing a relaxing scene, mentally rehearse the situation that's causing you stress. Visualize the meeting you're about to walk into and rehearse what happens. Imagine yourself successfully completing tasks that give you trouble. Visualize feeling calm and in control. This type of mental rehearsal can help you actually attain these feelings when the situation becomes reality. And last but not least, relax progressively. Breathing deeply and visualizing mentally both involve your mind, convince your body to relax. Progressive muscle relaxation works the other way around, with your body reporting to your mind that all is well. Progressive relaxation works by tensing and relaxing muscles throughout your body, one group at a time. Try this. Starting at your feet and working your way up to your head, contract and loosen each muscle group one after the other. Become aware of each muscle. Tense it. Hold the tension for a count of 5. Then slowly relax it. As the muscles in your body relax, your mind will become calmer and more focused. The more you practice, the more sensitive your muscles will become to levels of tension and relaxation. The goal is to reach the point where you can relax your body on demand without having to